Have you ever pondered if our world can truly be saved, or if only the Israelites hold the key to salvation? A provocative question, no doubt, but one that merits a thoughtful exploration. In the modern era, we often find ourselves questioning the authenticity of those who surround us. Be it a potential friend or a future spouse, we've come to believe that background checks and blood tests for sexually transmitted diseases are essential to verify someone's true nature. This is a sad reflection of our society, yet a necessary precaution. However, the real question here is, should we use such information to belittle someone who has declared themselves a repentant Israelite? The answer is a resounding no. While vigilance is crucial, we should never use this information to label someone who is earnestly trying to reform themselves in the faith of Jesus. Now, let's talk about timekeeping. Many observe Saturn's Day or Sun's Day, both of which originate from Rome. However, these are not our Lord's Sabbath. Our Sabbath should be determined from the full moon, not from a pagan papal calendar. Rome's Gregorian calendar is an entrapment, as is their Copernican cosmology. We are not obliged to follow Roman or Jewish pagan customs, but rather to avoid them. We are to follow our God's lunar calendar, which he bestowed upon us under a full moon, 2 weeks before we left Egypt. This ceremonial law of our God is not optional, it is mandatory. It's not easy to abandon the long-held belief of Saturn's Day, but it is essential to do so. This leads us to the question, are we really in the real Egypt of history here in America? Deuteronomy 28:68 suggests a symbolic return to Egypt, a state of bondage and servitude, which resonates with the current state of affairs. However, we must remember to adopt the mind of Christ as stated in Philippians 2:5-11. Despite being in the form of God, Christ made himself a servant, humbling himself and becoming obedient unto death. In him we find the greatest example of humility and obedience. To conclude, it's worth asking, where did the image of God in your mind originate? We often form our conception of God based on societal influences and personal experiences. However, true understanding comes from spiritual enlightenment. In summary, this discourse invites us to question our practices, beliefs, and the way we perceive God. It encourages us to be vigilant yet compassionate, to follow the lunar calendar as guided by our God, and to strive for humility and obedience in the likeness of Christ. Above all, it urges us to seek spiritual enlightenment for a true understanding of God.